Should we talk Olympic boxing?
Yeah, I mean, look, forget sewage in the Seine, forget the opening ceremony, forget Murray's retirement. This looks as if it could be the story, the controversy of Paris 2024, Stephen. What we saw yesterday was the Algerian welterweight fighter Iman Khalif against Angela Carini of Italy. The fight was abandoned by Carini after 46 seconds. She had decided she'd taken enough punishment, 2 or 3 blows to the head, the first of which damaged her chin strap. It even had to be adjusted. And she went to her corner and said to her coach, "I can't carry on." And the coach was saying, "Look, carry on, keep going, you know, just give it a little while." But she said, "No, I've had enough." And she said she'd never been hit so hard. Now, the controversy here is that Iman Khalif has an XY chromosome and was banned by the IBA, the International Boxing Association.
But let's see. This is where it gets very difficult.
Yes,
because XY chromosomes are normally found in men and not women. But there's no argument to say
that she's had an unnatural advantage.
Well, I mean, we're not talking about a trans athlete.
No, absolutely not.
This is she's a woman.
Absolutely.
But with an XY chromosome.
Yes, so the IBA did tests last year, and Khalif, alongside another Chinese athlete who's a boxer who's fighting today, Lin Yu-Ting, they found to have had far higher testosterone levels compared to average, a larger muscle mass, the XY chromosomes that we mentioned, and they were deemed to have a competitive advantage by the IBA last year. Now, the backstory to this is that the IBA were overseeing all this, and they banned both fighters from competing at the World Championships last year because of this advantage. The IBA have been, well, the IOC just took umbrage to the fact that they were scoring bouts wrongly. There were governance issues, and so jurisdiction of boxing, the governance of boxing for the Olympics was handed to the IOC's boxing unit, who have much more relaxed rules about who can compete. So,
all right, guys, so we got to talk about what probably is the biggest story in the world right now involving the Olympics due to the controversy of what happened when alleged male boxer Imani Khalif from Algeria essentially knocked out female Italian boxer Angela Carini in 46 seconds during an Olympic boxing match that sent the world into shock, okay? Because news had come out that, hey, Imani Khalif from Algeria is probably a biological male, okay? There is some evidence to suggest that this person not only has elevated testosterone, but also could have XY chromosomes, okay? According to the head of an international boxing league, they're saying that, hey, we disqualified this individual from the 2023 Women's Boxing World Championship for failing their gender qualifications test. And again, the word is that the reason why they failed is because they have male chromosomes, right? They have XY chromosomes, okay? Or at the very least, they have a Y somewhere, okay? A Y is there somewhere. However, there are people on the left that are coming out and crying hate and bigotry because people on the right are saying, well, we don't think that this is fair, even if you believe that this person is a female, because they may be intersex, they may have some disorder that affected the development of their sex organs. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is fair for them to compete against biological women who have XX chromosomes. But again, apparently this is a form of hate and bigotry according to the left.
I love how so many people who can't even name more than 2 female boxers, who never gave a about women's boxing, are all of a sudden experts on women's sports as soon as it's time to be transphobic. And really, nobody should be surprised by this, because as soon as we see a white woman cry, all of a sudden the entire world freaks out, and all of a sudden we all start coming out trying to cope. First of all, before anything else, if you came to the Olympics and you gave up after 2 hits, that's you. She surrendered after like 40 seconds. Like, you were a boxer. Getting punched in the face is what you signed up for. But regardless, y'all need to stop with this men competing in women's sports narrative. Imani Khalif is not trans. She was born a woman, assigned female at birth, has woman on her passport, and has female organs. Now, they say that she was tested and she may have a Y chromosome, but that still doesn't make her trans. At best, that makes her a female presenting intersex. So coming on the internet to say that she's trans and she's from a country where LGBT and transgenderism is illegal is crazy.
It's fascinating that we live in the information age where you can literally grab your phone and get information. Yet 1/3 of this country have gotten dumber. I mean, these mediocre twats refuse to even use a spell check on their phones. These imbeciles are against learning shit. Imani Khalif is not a transgender person. Period. Get it through your fucking heads or look it up for one time in your lives. She was born a biological female with female parts, lived as a female her entire life. It's funny how the morons always say, you don't know what a woman is. But when you ask them, they always say the same thing. It's about external shit, okay? If they have a vagina. Actually, is vagina external or internal? But they think a woman is someone born with lady parts, which she was. By your standards, by the shit you guys cry about all the time, she is a woman. Yet you still want to cry because you have to bitch about something different every day. Miserable, miserable people. Yes, she was born with female parts, but she does have XY chromosomes, but the Y was not strong enough, for lack of a better term, to develop male parts. So she had more testosterone than other women. So you can make an argument it's not fair. I'm with you there. It's not fair that she's able to compete against women. If that's your argument based on her having an advantage, well, then you have an argument. But all you guys care about is trashing transgender people, okay? Oh, the left, the liberals. This is fucking other countries, okay? They're not American. This is not the United States. It's not Biden or the left. This is the Olympic Committee.
How stupid do you have to be to watch female athletes compete at peak performance in the Olympics and be like, damn, her body looks masculine. She might be trans. Dog, that's just what muscular women look like. What? But this is what athletic women look like. Like, dog, just admit that every 4 years you get insecure when the Olympics roll around because it shows that there are hundreds of thousands of women out there who are better at basically every sport than you ever will be. Like, the only way some of y'all can comprehend women competing at this athletic level is if they were actually men. Dog, this is like living in the DC universe and looking at the women of the Justice League and being like, the entire Justice League is dudes. Look how masculine Wonder Woman is. I don't know why y'all are saying that the women of the Justice League are attractive. The only woman that's attractive on the Justice League is Power Girl, and that's because they're popping out of her damn suit.
Yeah, so we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the whole intersex conversation, whether or not this individual should be considered a male or a woman for the purposes of competing in the Olympics and sports, because the left is essentially arguing that, hey, as long as you have a vagina, then that means that you are a woman, period, right? As long as you have a vagina. Now, again, these are the same individuals that will tell you that, hey, if you are an individual with a penis, then you can be a woman as well, too. And you should not judge somebody's gender identity or whether or not they are a man or a woman based off their genitalia. Now, they're trying to say that, well, no, because this person allegedly has a vagina, they are a woman, period, right? They're a woman, they're a biological woman. Again, it's amazing how that works, okay? The left wants to have their cake and eat it too. So with that being said, okay, I do want to talk about this situation because it's not a one-off situation. As you have other boxers who allegedly are intersex that are competing against females and beating them up, right? Like, for example, this boxer from Taiwan, Lin Yu-Ting, was previously barred from the 2023 Women's Boxing World Championships, just like Imani Khalif. And this person, who is in red, just beat their female opponent at the Olympics. So let's look. Yeah. So as you guys can see, as you guys just saw there, this individual just dominated this fight, right? Absolutely dominated. And again, this is why the backlash and the outrage is growing, because it has become clear that these boxers have an advantage, a major advantage over the female boxers that they're facing. And a lot of people don't like this, okay? Because this is not what fair competition is supposed to look like. And also, again, it is connected to the far left agenda when it comes to them wanting biological males to compete against biological females in sports, because they are trying to blur the lines between what it means to be a man and a woman. Okay, this is what they're trying to do. Okay, so with that being said, let's read about this other individual who a lot of people have questions about, because again, they cruised to victory in their opening fight. Round 2 of the Olympics gender controversy was far less dramatic. Taiwan's Lin Yu-Ting who had been disqualified from the 2023 World Championships after she failed an unspecified gender eligibility test administered by the International Boxing Association, advanced to the quarterfinals of the division with a decision win over Uzbekistan's Turbakova. Lin, the top seed in the featherweight division, won a unanimous decision and controlled the action throughout all 3 rounds. The gender eligibility test was the same Amani Khalif had to undergo and ultimately led to her disqualification from the same boxing event in 2023. The issue burst to the forefront on Thursday when Khalif's match against Italian Angela Carini ended 46 seconds into the bout after Carini threw in the towel. The IBA has maintained that both boxers were subject to a separate and recognized test, although they did not go through a testosterone examination. The International Olympic Committee ended its recognition of the IBA, and the committee now oversees the boxing competition at the Olympics. Yeah, so apparently the IOC standards are much lower than the IBA standards in regards to testing. When we talk about gender qualification tests, they don't test in a way that is as strict as the IBA. Now, the IOC is trying to defend their decision to allow these alleged male boxers to compete against female boxers by saying that, well, they pass all our tests and therefore, like, it's fine, right? It's totally fine. It's totally okay. Okay. And the IBA, the International Boxing Association, well, they're corrupt. So you should not believe them and what they say in regards to what these athletes may be from a sex perspective. This is essentially what they're saying. Neither athlete is transgender, and the IOC has defended its decision to allow both fighters to compete in this year's Paris Games. Lin's passport and medical background indicate that she was born female, which the IOC confirmed. Okay, so again, they're saying that this person was born female at birth, even though a lot of people have questions about whether or not this person has an XY chromosome. And that is essentially what this comes down to, okay? Because in my opinion, I think a lot of people are kind of overlooking the fact that the argument that is being made, the principal argument that is being made, is that this is unfair competition if these individuals, in fact, have an XY chromosome. Now, it could be complicated. They could have an XXY chromosome, okay? Or they could have some other situation going on, like maybe, just having an X chromosome, right? Like, there's all types of genetic anomalies out there that result in the incomplete or incorrect development of a person's sexual organs, okay? Because, again, if Amani Khalif or this Lin Yu-Ting person, if they have XY chromosomes, even if it's an XXY, they still should not be allowed to compete, okay? If they have a Y chromosome, which is the male chromosome, they should not be allowed to compete, period. I'm sorry, because that gives them an unfair advantage. Now, again, I get it. I understand, like, they can't help it. They were born that way, and they may have a female anatomy on the outside, but from a hormones perspective, that Y chromosome results in development that aligns with typical male characteristics when you're talking about muscle mass, strength, speed, bone density. All of these things, again, are characteristics of what males have, again, as a result of having that Y chromosome. Again, that's like the equivalent of taking performance-enhancing drugs. I mean, it really is. It's just not fair. Now, again, what I find to be fascinating is how these individuals on the left are saying that somebody with a Y chromosome could be a female, right? I'm not entirely sure how you square that, right? I'm not entirely sure, because if you have XX chromosomes, then you are a woman. What makes you a male is when you have the Y, right? Once you get that Y, you now become a male because you get the hormone profile that results in male development. Now, again, it doesn't work out all the time, okay? It's not an exact thing that happens every single time, but it happens 99% of the time. But hey, 1 to 2% of the time, hey, you have somebody that is ambiguous, okay? They might have, again, XY chromosomes, and hey, they unfortunately just didn't develop a penis, okay? It is what it is, right? It happens. But regardless of how you want to label this individual, you can't say that it's fair for somebody with the hormone profile of a male, regardless of what their genitalia is, to compete against women in sports. That's not fair. You know why you know that's not fair? It's the same reason we don't allow performance-enhancing drugs. Because a woman injecting the male hormone, testosterone, into her body is going to give her advantages over a woman who is not doing that, right? So again, if you are a woman or a female with a Y chromosome, again, in my opinion, that's just like being on performance-enhancing drugs. It doesn't matter what your genitalia is. And if that is the case, if these individuals do in fact have a Y chromosome, they should not be allowed to compete under the current conditions. It's really that simple. We don't have to get caught up in the conversation of whether or not the person is a male or a female. If they have a Y chromosome, they should not be allowed to compete. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, maybe you can open up the transgender category to intersex, right? So it's transgender and intersex. Those people, okay, all the ambiguous people, right? They can all compete amongst themselves. So in my opinion, that's what it comes down to. Does this person or these individuals have a Y chromosome? What is their chromosome profile? And once we figure that out, then we can make a decision about whether or not it is fair. But again, if the rumors are true, if they in fact do have XY chromosomes, then yeah, it's not fair. They should not be allowed to compete. Period. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.